Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Stephen Dorff. Now, some of you might be wondering, who? Who are you talking about, David? Stephen Dorff was the villain in the original Blade movie from 1998, starring Wesley Snipes as the title character, and Stephen Dorff played Deacon Frost, who is the villain in that movie. And look, that original Blade movie was a really great movie for... actually, it still holds up pretty well, I think. I actually prefer Blade 2 more, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, Stephen Dorff decided to make headlines today by being the next actor who wants to look cool in front of his elite friends and say that superhero movies are trash and that he'll never do them because, and he decided to pick on Black Widow this week to make his point across. He says, see, Black Widow, I feel embarrassed for people that are in that movie. I feel embarrassed for Scarlett Johansson and embarrassed for the people. Look, you don't have to be embarrassed for Marvel because Marvel really doesn't give a shit with all the money that they make. So, I don't think you have to feel embarrassed for any of them in those movies. I'm pretty sure Scarlett Johansson loves being in a Marvel movie by this point in time, especially seeing how much they've learned and grown as a company to, when you go back to Iron Man 2 and see how she was treated in that, or how her character was treated in that movie by just being a sex object and just being a badass, her character has grown with a personality that a lot of people have grown to like. Going so far to the fact that some people even feel maybe this Black Widow movie is actually a little too late to be putting out now after we know the fate of her character. Also, by the way, this movie is getting a lot of really good reviews from critics, and fans are really excited to see it. So, are you wrong about the video game special effects? Depends. Sometimes I think the special effects in these Marvel movies could be hit or miss, but I think they hit it out of the park with their storytelling and their characters that sometimes you can forgive the special effects. But I wouldn't even dare call them video game effects. Like, come on, really? You think they're that bad? Okay, well, that's your opinion, I guess. But let's also look at your filmography, and let's remember how crappy your filmography is. The last movie I saw you in was a movie called Immortals, and some people have even been pointing out a superhero movie that you did in the last 6 years called American Hero, which looked like it got terrible reviews. I'm glad I never even heard of it, and this came out in 2015. Ouch. So maybe you're just a little bitter that you just, didn't get the right career choices in your career that you've had, and people only remember you from that one good Blade film. Sucks to be you. Look, I think Stephen Dorff is a really good actor. I'm not going to trash on him too much. I don't think his career choices have been the best, but I think when he is in something, the things that I have seen him in, he's usually good in. But I don't think he should be in a position shitting on the work that a lot of people put their time and effort into. I think that's wrong. And clearly you're burning some bridges, and maybe bridges that you don't really care for. But I mean, unless you want to continue going down the career path you're going, then hey, go for it. Another thing is, a lot of people have been bringing up the Martin Scorsese situation again. 2 or 3 years ago, Martin Scorsese gave some comments about the MCU. But let me put the difference here about what Stephen Dorff said, his trash talking, and the difference what Martin Scorsese said. Martin Scorsese called the MCU films, they're like theme park rides. And I said at the time, I even did a video about Martin Scorsese's comments, and said that I actually agree with him. They are like theme parks, because you go to a theme park to have fun. And those movies, the MCU movies in particular, are a lot of fun. And yes, I mean, look, I did a couple of Disney World, Disneyland videos recently because I'm so eager to go Why? Because it's a lot of fun at a Disneyland theme park. And funny enough, the Marvel movies, the MCU in particular, are owned by Disney. Fun, Disney, come on. So, yes, they are a lot of fun. And look, they're not perfect movies by any means. I think some are definitely a lot more fun than others. I think there are some perfect Marvel movies that have been made under Marvel Studios. And I even think they're lesser movies, some of the movies that they've succeeded the least. Like, my least favorite movies are like Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Maybe Doctor Strange would not be all the way at the bottom, but Ant-Man and the Wasp is definitely my least favorite. And even that one, I would say, is a fun time. So it just sounds like when I hear these quotes from Stephen Dorff, I'm not going to read them and I'm not going to find them because I don't care. I'm just going to say that it's his opinion. He just sounds really bitter. And if he wants a better career, hey, pick better choices. Hey, here's an idea. Maybe actually join the MCU, and then maybe your career could blossom again. Oh, but that's right. You want to do American Hero and Immortals. So keep doing that shit, and maybe we can talk in another 10 years or so. Even Ethan Hawke, who admitted that the superhero movies wasn't his cup of tea, even he realized, well, you know what? I'm still going to get on the act, but I'm not going to get into like a superhero movie that has like a bajillion movies already. I'm going to get into a superhero property that doesn't even have one movie yet. And he got into Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac. So there are some actors who say, okay, even though this genre isn't my cup of tea, I'm still going to join a superhero property because, hey, and clearly this franchise is one of the more successful franchises that clearly knows what the audience wants, and that's why they keep doing successful. Now, if you're shitting on the entire genre as a whole, well, talk to DC, because they're still trying to figure things out, because they've had a couple of hits, but they've also had a couple of misses. So we've seen that the superhero genre doesn't always work, especially if it's not done right. When you see actors like Anthony Hopkins, Robert Redford, Christian Bale, Angelina Jolie, and what's the most recent one? I can't remember right now, but it was on the tip of my tongue. Either way, when you see all these big names joining the MCU, at some point you gotta say, maybe I should join up too. Not just to be on the bandwagon, but because, hey, clearly this is a company that knows what they're doing. Why not get in a little bit of that action while they're still hot? That's all I'm gonna say on the matter. Because it pisses me off when there's a celebrity, an actor or a director or a writer or a producer that shits on the MCU because of its success. They're like tired that a studio is giving work to people in Hollywood. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me, so I don't get it. I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But don't say stop. That company should stop working. Should stop giving people jobs. Should stop bringing in success. That company should stop. They should start making shitty films that people don't like, because there's already a lot of movies that people don't like. So it's rare when people actually like a franchise nowadays that actually stays consistently good for most people, for that kind of taste. With that being said, I hope this helped everybody. I want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters who help support this channel. They are giving me a monthly subscription at patreon.com/David Jordeo. They clearly support this channel and want to help me succeed and grow into something more. But I can't grow more if I can't get more subscribers. So I'm putting this out here and hoping that if you can subscribe, I know especially these times are really difficult times, and if you can't, I get it. It's tough. There was a time where I used to, give to people's Kickstarter campaigns and stuff like that. as much as I could when I used to live with my parents. But now that I moved out of the house a couple years ago, that has kind of stopped for me. And so now I'm trying to see if people can help me now. And so far, 4 people, that's awesome. And I really appreciate the help, guys. Because yeah, when I started a Patreon page, I didn't think I was going to get anything. And 4 people are better than nothing. I'm going to tell you that. Even if I have these 4 people for the rest of my YouTube career, then that's fine. At least it shows that some people out there believed in what I was doing, and they appreciated the hard work I was putting into. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So thank you to my Patreon supporters. Your support means the world to me. And hopefully anybody else there watching, if you want to join in, and you will get a special credit. There's a $5 tier and a $10 tier. Both of them are for the same thing currently right now, until I figure out something else for the $10 tier, like an upgrade kind of thing, like something else to give. Then I'll update that $10 tier. But for now, they're both the same. If you want to spare a little bit extra, that would be greatly appreciated. So thank you once again. With that being said, I hope you guys can like this video. Please send the link around to people who you might think might be interested in hearing somebody tell off Stephen Dorff from the Blade movie. That his one role that made him famous, funny enough, a Marvel role of all things. Yeah, it must be nice to shit on the company you had that pretty much gave you your start. Even though maybe Marvel Studios didn't really have much to do with that one. But still, I mean, it was a Marvel movie. And to say that you're never going to do another one is like hypocritical. Or it makes you sound bitter. So with that being said, like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, take care.